No one inside the MotoGP paddock expected the final phase of the 2025 season to unfold like this. When Toprak Razgatlioglu first rolled onto a MotoGP grid, the expectation was simple and conservative: adaptation, patience, survival. Instead, what followed quietly unsettled even Yamaha's own engineers. His debut was not explosive or chaotic. It was controlled, measured, almost unsettling in its calm efficiency. Telemetry data revealed braking stability and corner entry behavior that did not align with the profile of a newcomer. For a rider transitioning from World SBK machinery, inconsistency was expected. What Yamaha saw instead was discipline under pressure. Behind closed doors, internal discussions shifted rapidly. This was no longer about learning. It was about disruption, and that realization carried consequences that extended far beyond the timing sheets. Surpassing Jack Miller and Alex Rins may not have looked dramatic on paper, but inside the paddock, it changed the entire conversation. These were not just names on the grid, they were reference riders, deeply experienced in MotoGP's technical demands. For Toprak to position himself ahead of them so early forced teams to reassess assumptions. Yamaha's internal evaluations reportedly flagged the results as structurally important, not because of points, but because of execution. Tire management remained consistent. Race pace stabilized late. Mistakes were minimal.
These are qualities teams expect to develop over seasons, not months. Rival engineers noticed. One insider described it as a warning delivered without sound. There were no celebrations, no bold statements, only performance that refused to be ignored. And inevitably, attention shifted toward the rider who defined Yamaha's modern identity. Toprak Razgatlioglu never publicly challenged Fabio Quartararo. He did not need to. In MotoGP, intention often speaks through silence. By openly acknowledging Fabio as his benchmark, Toprak framed his ambition carefully, but the implication was clear. Inside Yamaha, the dynamics subtly changed. Quartararo has long been the emotional and technical anchor of the project, a former champion carrying the weight of a rebuilding manufacturer. The arrival of a rider openly measuring himself against that standard introduced quiet complexity. As 2026 approached, the idea of both riders operating under Yamaha machinery became increasingly delicate. Cooperation and rivalry exist close together in racing, and the line between them is thin. Fans framed it as motivation, engineers saw potential friction, and the pressure slowly intensified. Yamaha is no stranger to managing elite talent, but insiders describe this situation as unusually sensitive. Toprak and Fabio represent different philosophies, different braking styles, different feedback languages, different instincts. Aligning development around both simultaneously required precision.
Reports emerged of subtle disagreements, not confrontations, but divergence in technical direction. One side emphasized front-end feel. The other demanded adaptability under changing grip conditions. Neither approach was wrong, and that was the challenge. Management faced a difficult reality. Supporting both riders equally could slow progress. Choosing a single reference risked internal strain. What began as optimism gradually evolved into strategic tension that followed Toprak onto the track. For Toprak Razgatlioglu, the move to MotoGP was deeply personal. Leaving a category where he had already established dominance meant surrendering certainty. In World SBK, he was a reference point. In MotoGP, he became a variable. At 28, the margin for prolonged adjustment narrows. Publicly, Toprak spoke of patience and learning. Privately, sources suggested the internal drive was relentless. Each session carried invisible weight. Justify the decision, validate the risk, silence the doubt. And yet, his composure never fractured. Even after difficult weekends, his tone remained controlled and reflective. Beneath that calm exterior, however, something sharper was forming. The Yamaha M1 demanded compromise. Electronics behavior, corner exit characteristics, and tire sensitivity required Toprak to rewrite habits built over years. Early races became experiments rather than statements. Engineers noted calculated changes in braking zones and throttle application.
Supple adjustments,
intentionally layered. While results appeared modest, telemetry suggested progress accelerating beneath the surface. Some mechanics admitted certain inputs should not have been effective so early. Toprak acknowledged the difficulty openly, but his optimism never faded. He spoke of timing, of understanding, of allowing speed to arrive naturally. Yet his words hinted at ambition held carefully in restraint. As the paddock focused on immediate outcomes, Toprak's attention extended further ahead. The 2027 regulation overhaul, featuring reduced engine capacity and the introduction of Pirelli tires, represented opportunity, a reset, a moment where adaptability could outweigh experience. Toprak referenced the future with visible confidence, even humor. Insiders believe Yamaha views 2027 as a true relaunch window, a chance to rebuild identity under new rules. For a rider known for sensitivity and unconventional braking technique, the alignment appeared natural. The present season began to feel less like an objective and more like preparation. Public reaction followed a predictable pattern. Social media divided into camps. Some declared Toprak Yamaha's future, others defended Quartararo's legacy. Media narratives intensified, questioning leadership dynamics and reading into body language. None of it was officially confirmed, yet the noise became impossible to ignore. Yamaha attempted to soften comparisons internally, but perception carries momentum.
Momentum generates pressure. Toprak remained neutral in public. Quartararo remained composed, but the environment around them shifted, subtly and steadily. As races progressed, one truth became increasingly difficult to dismiss. Toprak was ahead of schedule, not dominant, not victorious, but positioned. Engineers adjusted projections, management recalculated timelines, rivals quietly paid attention. What was expected to be a gradual introduction evolved into a silent escalation. No dramatic incidents occurred, no confrontation surfaced, and yet the atmosphere grew heavier with every weekend. In racing, silence often precedes impact. By season's end, Yamaha faced a question it could no longer delay. Had they secured their future or introduced instability into their own garage? Toprak Razgatlioglu did not disrupt MotoGP loudly. He did something far more unsettling. He arrived calmly, he adapted efficiently, and he aimed far beyond the present. Whether this journey ends in harmony or internal upheaval remains unknown, but one reality is already clear. This was never just a debut. It was the opening phase of a slow-burning challenge that may redefine Yamaha's direction in the years to come. And inside the paddock, everyone knows this story is only beginning.